a brave son of India, someone who took multiple bullets in an encounter and an operation in Kashmir, someone who has been decorated by the President of India, APJ Abdul Kalam, Mr. Narendra Nath Dubey. What is it about the world that we live in today, okay, that maybe scares you, perhaps excites you?
If you see from the perspective of a common man, it scares more. Excitement is obviously in doing something very experimental and something very new, but the world order is totally changed.
Today it seems like NATO might fall apart.
The reason is that what NATO was few years back, those time international power blocks were very different.
Where did Ghazi Baba first come in from?
Violence from the J&K territory inside Kashmir, South Kashmir, North Kashmir, including parliament attack in Delhi, J&K assembly attack, and there had been one more attack later on in Ayodhya. So all these attacks were basically guided by Ghazi Baba because Maulana was in jail.
There is on-ground support, that does happen. Silos are still there who are still helping, in certain cases like what happened in Hideout as well.
These silos are there and they will continue to be because until there is a local support, it is very difficult for any terror outfit coming from across the border to survive.
A skill every officer must have in the field.
How to connect the human being, that is the biggest strength.
Today on Let's Chat with GB, we have a brave son of India, someone who took multiple bullets in an encounter and an operation in Kashmir, someone who has been decorated by the President of India, APJ Abdul Kalam, and someone who has gone above and beyond in his duty for the country. It is my honor and pleasure today to welcome none other than Mr. Narendra Nath Dubey, DIG BSF, and also an integral part of NIA. Namaste and Jai Hind. Welcome to Let's Chat with GB.
Sure. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
It is, of course, like I said, an honor and a pleasure, to have you here. And thank you for making time. I know you've been super, super busy and you were still able to make out time and come. So thank you so much for that.
I'm also happy to be with you. We'll talk something
Of course.
which may be of some use to others.
I have no doubt. I have no doubt. I've been watching some of your, podcasts, and I said, let's come out and try a different, perspective also on this one. So first up, if we talk about, the world that we live in today, and you've seen it from so many different perspectives, be it intelligence, be it operations on ground, strategy. So what is it about the world that we live in today, okay, that maybe scares you, perhaps excites you? But love to have your perspective on that as well.
It's a combination of excitement and scared, to be scared both.
Right.
But if you see from the perspective of a common man, it scares more.
Right.
Excitement is obviously in doing something very experimental and something very new.
Right.
But the world order is totally changed.
So true.
And first time it has impacted on such a larger section of the entire globe.
Correct.
Many countries are associated, involved.
Correct.
Continents, countries,
Correct.
humanity, complete economy, survival,
Right.
and also the right to live on this motherland for a requisite period of lifespan for every human being is being cut short with the developments happening every day. So that is the area I feel scared. And once the things come from very responsible people, from very responsible countries, from the people who can set right many things, even they go above the board not to take care of the lives. The life is one area which I feel very bad if it is snatched just by spur of moments.
So true.
And someone who came on this bhumi, his entire span is cut short.
So true.
That is very scary.
Yeah. And, of course, well aware of, what's really happening in the, entire global sphere. But you came from very simple times. I was just, listening to one of your podcasts when, you started out in the BSF, A lot of the India-Pakistan border was perhaps not even fenced. You said there was a lot of camaraderie between people on our side and on their side. One time, your camel went missing. So very, very different times compared to like today, where now there is so much animosity. There is and also there is the AI, and there's the drones and the anti-drones. So much has changed over the years, right?
Once we prepared a complete frame of modern India after 1947. So it's almost, if you calculate, more than 80 years. And this period has seen very ups and downs and periodical challenges, which not only impacted the neighborhood relationship, but it also prompted many wars between neighboring countries.
So true.
And it also created a sense of, you can say, loss of confidence, loss of faith, loss of trust within our own society. And that is very concerning, okay? Because the foundation of the partition was itself very different. India and Pakistan became two neighboring countries from the one family, just the stroke of midnight, 1947. And the idea was conceived long back. And unfortunately, the core reason was not very healthy. If two brothers are separated in the line of some finances, some social status, something have not sort of thing, or some dispute which has got a really, which got a potential not to allow them to live together. But it happened because of a very, very different faith, ideology, that probably we lived together for centuries. We fought to get the freedom from the Britishers. But now this is the time. Beyond this, we cannot live together. And for us, a separate country is required to run the entire show on a different faith and ideology. So the basic core of the partition was very unhealthy.
Very true.
And anything which was basically taken off from that platform could never reach to the target, because the entire foundation was not good.
So true.
So it started from that point. And after weeks, I mean, if you take the timeline of August 1947, then it was October, 29th October, when there was onslaught by the counterpart country on the Jammu Kashmir independent territory in the shape of Qabilis. So, and they had reached right up to 12-16 miles away from Srinagar city. Baramulla city having population of 12,000 in those days, only 3,000 were the survivors.
Really?
There were so brutal killings. You take the nuns of the missionaries in Baramulla city. Very few people know that the city has got a Christian missionary of that old era. And the Qabilis, they started basically butchering right from Muzaffarabad, and they took control of the whole territory. And it was the leadership of that time which entered into understanding with the then Maharaja, and then they signed instrument of accession. Then Indian Army intervened, but by the time it intervened, significant portion of Jammu and Kashmir was already occupied, and they were basically chased. But there was again a ceasefire, because India had just came into existence, and you can understand the international pressure of 1947. What you are in 2026, you are not in 1947. So if we think imagining that why at that point of time we did not have a resistance like Operation Sindoor, but it was not possible to do in those days.
It's very different India.
Different India. It was in a very budding stage. So that was very unfortunate. And the valor and the sacrifices, the martyrdom Bala Indian military's first Paramveer Chakra, Major Somnath Sharma is 1947 Paramveer Chakra. May not be people may not be knowing that it is from 1947. So that was the first onslaught on independent territory, which was neither occupied by India nor Pakistan. And again, red line was drawn, and it was followed by 1965, 1971, 1999, and so on during 3.5 decades of terrorism in Kashmir.
So true.
Borders were totally open. There was no fencing. Complete land border. It was open. And the acrimony basically got more intensified after 1988.
Correct.
Even the period of Punjab terrorism, which was basically a proxy,
Correct.
it was also totally being supported by the Pakistan only.
Bilkul.
And it started 1978. It ended in 1993. So our situation on Punjab front was again a very, very receiving end.
Right.
And the kind of killings in Punjab, the separatist movement, the proscribed terrorist organizations, the independent Khalsa geography from our mainland, all movement started in 1978, ended by 1993. So Pakistan engaged us on two fronts for 5 years. 1988 to 1993 was 5 years common on Punjab and Kashmir both. So that was the situation, and terrorism, we are in 2026. You add 10 years more. It's almost 35 years plus, 3.5 decades. So there had never been a chance to repair the relationship. There have been efforts, sometimes from both the countries, sometimes from Indian side, but trust could never restore. Just because of the thing that the driving factors, the guiding factors to run the Pakistan are still the same. Rather, a country learns lesson. I don't think Pakistan also must have a significant number of population who might be believing what we are saying.
Right.
Instead of getting such a deep enmity between both the countries, Pakistan could have gone on a very different flight.
It could have. And it would have been good for their
Yeah,
own
it would have
economy
been
and their
good
own
for
country
them.
and their own people also. So true.
But it never chose to that.
Never chose.
And unfortunately, they were never blessed by good democracy. That is the biggest reason. What I feel that Pakistan also must have got a good number of people who might be wishing for a good jamhuriyat, but that jamhuriyat could never be with them for, and if with them, it was never for a very longer period.
Correct.
Because the military rulers, the field marshals, military rulers have been traditionally at the helm of affairs. They were basically driving the chariot. And all this political class have been band of looters in the Pakistan complete political system. So we feel bad about it. And both the countries are still carrying the legacy, carrying the, you can say, bad test against each other. And challenges are the same. Rather, the variety and the types of challenges are changed.
So true.
So in this current era of AI, modern warfare, technology, things are completely changed. Last year's month of May 2025 experience is totally different. And the whole world you are seeing, you take the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, you see the conflict in the Central Asia, Iran versus US, Israel, both. In both the situation, you will find that it's a modern technology.
Very true.
It's a totally different warfare.
Very true.
It's AI, and your armament superiority is going to decide the fate of the war. And earlier, the boots used to be on the ground. So there was some pain. Because military used to fight, you have to cross. You have to take physical possession of the land. So there used to be tragedies, there used to be killings, there used to be attrition on a very high scale. So there was big hue and cry. Now what is happening? The actual fighting components are not crossing the boundary line. So your technology is fighting each other.
Exactly.
So what is happening? Innocents are being killed. Earlier, innocent casualty used to be less, minimized, and the fighting components used to inflict injuries or you can say death or killings of each other. Now that component is little safe because technology is just ahead of you. And what is happening in counterattack? I mean, killing 170 children in one single school. If you take example of Taliban and Pakistan killing a complete people in the complete rehabilitation center. Then targeting hotels, targeting desalination water plant of a country, targeting energy sources, targeting the line of communication, mode of communication, targeting hospitals, targeting orphanages.
Unheard of.
Then unheard of. And then who is victim of all these things?
Common man.
Who is at receiving end? Common man. So this is the bad side of the modern warfare.
So true.
And entire world is facing heat of this. It's not a war only between Iran and combined Israel-America. The 25% energy flow from Strait of Hormuz is going to impact the complete Southeast Asia, even Europe, Middle East countries. So it's going to impact directly where we are sitting. Right on this table, the impact is going to come.
100% agree. I mean, our driver, in fact, he was just telling me that he used to get an LPG cylinder today.
Yes.
He said the premium that's being charged is 3x or 4x of what the price of that cylinder would be.
Black marketing already started. Hoarders are there. Hoarders are dancing. Whatever amount of control you want to exercise, but you cannot catch hold of every lawbreaker. It's not possible in the society.
Industry is suffering, right? I mean, today you have ceramic units in the Khurja area. They have no gas supply.
Yes.
Morbi in Gujarat has no gas supply because there's unfortunately no gas available for industry because it's being rerouted towards household use.
Exactly.
Right?
It's impacting. It's not that my kitchen is not affected, so the entire country is unaffected. It's not like this. Okay. I may be living in a very different type of society where there's a piped gas, and definitely if a day will come when the pipe gas is also compromised or it's a basically cut short, then you can't even lit a lamp there. In countryside, people at least they will use some firewood and coal and everything. Right. But you can't do it in this society.
Yeah, I mean, I was reading another article recently and it said a lot of people will be watching this podcast on YouTube and maybe following some of the clips on social media. They said that there was also talk that Iran was going to cut the undersea internet cables. Right? And if the data cables went, then that would be the end of internet. What do people do without Instagram and their
It's
Facebook?
already in talk.
Yeah.
Your entire speed will be slowed down. It may be cut down. Correct. It may be totally non-functional.
Correct.
So it's not going to impact only what you want to interact or I want to interact. It's going to cut down the entire communication system which is having a control of running the total vyavastha, which you say management, that may be air, that may be a rail, that may be a traffic, that may be a health section, real estate section, your money, your whatever you say. It's only through that internet.
Correct.
So that is again a very big area of concern, and people are talking now very openly on that.
Right.
That particular connection basically it passes through from the same ocean area.
Right.
So let us see where this dirty game is going to end up.
Yeah,
because
I know. As we're recording this, I think we are now maybe around 36 hours away from
deadline.
Donald Trump's deadline.
Yes.
And hoping that there's a step down instead of further escalation, because people talk about AI ka zamana. I'm like, if the data centers start being targeted and if power infrastructure starts being targeted, there will be no AI. There will be no way to empower this AI then.
But except one thing, that every lines given by the Donald Trump is always dead. So it's again very difficult even for his friends to basically believe what is exactly the deadline.
Right.
And what is actually he has created a environment of uncertainty and unpredictability. Right. Any world leader, any person sitting in that level should have reliability. There has to be something called trust. And trust is not in the foe. It's within friend community.
Right.
With the entire NATO country backing out, not going to fight with their military in the favor. then the European Union, and major 7 countries, 3 in Asian area and 4 in Europe area, denying that basically the complete energy line, our economy is based on this complete energy line. So they are also not coming. And there is a very, very big confusion amongst the Arab countries also. They are also not very comfortable. Because before this, the complete bowl of progress has never been impacted by any such attack. You take it Dubey, you take it Oman, Muscat, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, all these countries. So first time there is a side effect of big war being fought between Iran and allied forces of Israel and America. So the impact are going to their areas only, and also the European countries. Because you see, I'll tell you, the energy dependency is very huge.
Very much so.
Very huge. Yeah. Even India, now they have started opening alternative routes and alternative source of supply for the energy. But till now, how long your reservoir will work, and how long from your reserve economy you will boost the shortfall, you will boost the price hike all over the world, and you keep feeding people. Because in our country, freebie is also a very big area. I mean, government, popular government, democratic government has to always take care of their position in the center. So they also cannot cut down the belly of the people whom they have promised. Because finally, after 5 years, you have to go to public to ask for the vote.
So true. Yeah, look at oil prices. I mean, we were at 65, 66 when the conflict began. Today, we're trading at 110.
110,
right? You have an increase of 70, 80%. And nothing has been passed on to the consumer till now. I mean, yes, they made some cuts on excise and, all of that. And, so the government is giving out of their own kitty, but nothing's been passed on to the consumer. But how far can the government also do that? They can't. Beyond a point, it's not feasible anymore.
Government employees now talking that generally after 31st March, there is some hike in their pension, in their salary, average 3% after every 6 month government gives.
Right.
So it's almost 5-6 days in the month of April, and there is no announcement. So all these are indicators that government is also struggling how to cope up with this new dimension and the economy of the country and the compromised stock of the energy, because it's a very big country. The consumer base is very big. So this is going to impact.
For sure.
Impact to India also. Currently, it may not be seen so on a very bold letters, but I think time will come if this war gets prolonged.
So true.
Further,
so true.
It's going to.
And of course, you spoke about how all the chaos that we live in, at least on the India-Pakistan side, the seeds were sown, way back almost now 70 to 80 years ago. You just mentioned NATO as well. Now, NATO as a bloc also, it came up, after World War II when the Cold War was happening, and you of course had the Soviet bloc, and then you had the NATO bloc. Today, it seems like NATO might fall apart.
Actually, I tell you, nothing is tailor-made. If you go to a shop, there are products with numbers 38, 40, 42, 44, but still there is a trial room.
Okay.
The reason is that what NATO was few years back, those time international power blocks were very different. And interdependency of the countries were also very different. Every country has got aspiration. Everybody has to grow economy-wise or whatever you say.
Right.
These blocks were basically made, this NATO bloc was basically made against Russia. Just to counter communism, Samyabad, Samajbad. I mean, it was basically prepared against those. But over a period of time, within your own allies, if you will start over stretching your arms like a big brother, so probably your own brothers will also not like. And NATO was never so much divided as it seems to be in current era. Why? Because America, being a very potential, most important entity of the NATO, they found a leadership which started claiming right beyond their boundary. And every country has got their own dignity, their own, you can say, self-respect, respect of the country, respect of the sovereignty, nation, everything. So every day talking, starting from Canada, that's our, maybe it may be annexed as our 49th state. Such a big land piece of the world.
And valuable resources there also.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And completely giving security to the United States of America from the northern front.
Correct.
Entire northern border is with the Canada.
Correct.
You take their example on the south side with the Mexico.
So true.
So always Mexico, I mean, the kind of, you can say, color and apartheid and all those things inside America against the Mexican racism is on peak.
Right.
Whatever they claim to be a super developed people, they are very progressive. But if you talk to the people of America, they will cite many examples that this racism is intact in American mind.
Right.
Then again, sense of supremacy. You definitely progressed very well, and America took themselves to the trajectory of the economic growth, military might, and also wonderful infrastructure all over the world, which any person on this world dream to be.
So true.
Everybody thinks I should go to America. That way you did really very well, and we all appreciate that. But American leadership should also think that there are other entities on this earth. You are not only a warrior. You are not only Ashwamedh ka ghoda. You start winning from one end of the world and this is your objective to reach on the other end of the world. Correct. No, it's not like this. Coexistence and respecting sovereignty and autonomy of every partner is the greatness which America should think about. So they started stretching their arm. First thing is Canada, then Mexico. You see the fate of Venezuela.
Now they talk
This
about Cuba.
Nicolas Maduro. There could have been other way of nipping him down. There could have been a better and more, you can say, respectable way to handle leader of that country, up and achieving the same objective.
So true.
But when you playing with the world geopolitics, and you are thinking China to be so potential threat for the America's existence in the future, so just to cut down their supply, just to keep Russia dried of their fuel resources from the Venezuela, you brought this new concept and you did it. I mean, whatever was your objective, everybody knows in the world. Then you again claiming Greenland, that Greenland basically
Security of America.
Security of America means a country of the size of Greenland is your observation post on the globe, which is for your security, and they will keep a OP center to look upon America's security. I mean, that is you are looking Greenland from that perspective.
So true.
Then you are taunting European countries. I mean, I never found as a person of a president of America status who could taunt about the lady wife of your French president. That's unbecoming, I think. And again, about India-Pakistan conflict last year, the Operation Sindoor, making multiple comments, multiple claims, again unverified. Even if it happens behind the door, between two big leaderships, two great leaderships, there has to be some sanctity.
Some decorum.
Sanctity.
Like it was.
Yeah, it should not be. World is not basically dried of intellectual people. There are the people who see, who think, who react, and who comment. So somehow I feel that the people generally in the world, they generally don't like American sense of supremacy and considering others to be little inferior. And you are the only person who are the greatest in the world. And make America great again. You make America great again. Who stops you? Everybody makes.
But at what cost also?
At what cost also. And another problem is that they never put the house in order. Wherever they go, wherever they go for a war, generally they choose every corner of the world except America itself. So they go always beyond Atlantic. So you choose a country to basically make the system as per your convenience.
Correct.
You fight, you bring destructions, you paralyze the complete infrastructure, killings, you stay there, then you come back. But what is your contribution?
So true.
To create a working, functional system of democracy in that country. You take any example. You take example of Libya. You take example of Iraq. You take example of Vietnam. You take example of Afghanistan. And you take example of this Venezuela. And now this is the sixth country where you are fighting. Iran and Iraq both.
Correct.
So finally, a responsible democracy, a powerful country, a superpower country also has responsibility to bring the system in order in a particular country where you are invading. Because that society also needs a dignified life after this.
You're so right. And I think, in India, we have so much to be grateful for, just from the fact that we have a working democracy that has seen us through, all our lives and can to do so. Look at the entire, and, you spend so much time, on the borders as well. Look at South Asia. Okay, look at the issues that Pakistan's had, Nepal had, Bangladesh has had, Sri Lanka has had, Maldives has had. So we're kind of actually the oasis in chaos. And when I go abroad and I talk to people, they're like, oh, South Asia, this problem, that problem. I said, you know what? All said and done, India is still your oasis in the midst of all this chaos.
It's so true. It's so true. Because if you see the instability and regime changes across many small and big countries in this particular geography of the world, you will find that India is fairly doing very well. There are disagreements. There are multiple opposition parties. And that is the integral part of any democracy. If you want your democracy very strong, if you want a responsible democracy, then voice of opposition must always exist. Because one thing is very sure, in our system of democracy, somebody will rule. It's a number game. Some party will rule. Because they are bigger in number. But voice of accent, voice of disagreement should not be silenced. Why? Because निंदक नियरे राखिए आंगन कोटी छवाए बिन पानी साबुन बिना निर्मल करे सुहाए. You must have a very critical friend. Why I say friend? Opposition is not enemy. They are also friend, but they are critical friends. They criticize you. They show you mirror. They point out the deficiency and shortcomings. So their existence should be equally respected. And India is doing very well because of this reason. Right from beginning, you see the parliamentary discourse. You listen the debate of the parliament of the past era. When great visionaries used to be under a different responsibility. So you'll find that they used to shout in open public forum to condemn other party and to get vote in their favor and to come in the power. But still they used to behave with each other with a lot of dignity and respect. And the same thing we are missing in America today. The entire Pentagon and entire defense staff has been changed. Their own counterinsurgency chief removed. Defense secretary removed. Every day there is a change. Why? Again, it's not a political party. All these institutions which are there to support, to run America, their chief are also responsible to advise you correctly. And if they are advising, this is the responsibility of the leadership to listen everyone and to take a very balanced call so that decision is always better. But what I am seeing in American leadership, that probably those people are not being basically consulted. Otherwise, America is also having a good number of advisors who can always suggest their chief on a very strategic matters, how to do, what to do. But there is some problem, I think, somewhere. And in that respect, India is doing very well.
So true.
Very doing.
So true. So you spoke about, the misadventures of, America. And of course, the thorn in India's flesh also started in a way in Afghanistan. Okay, as one of the resistance fighters against the Russians when the Russians were being backed by Americans, or at least with his subset commanders. You've had several let's say skirmishes in the past, and that's Maulana Masood Azhar. So Maulana Masood Azhar also started in Afghanistan as Mujahideen, right?
Yes. He started a journey from there. He is basically product of a jihadi school of Bahawalpur in Punjab. And it's a Punjab state in Pakistan which has been voice of radicalism. The radical thought process, break India into 1,000 pieces, bleed India through 1,000 cuts, anti-India rhetoric, everything basically, that is the emerging center in Pakistan and the state of Punjab.
Right.
So Bahawalpur is their Markaz-e Subhanallah, Jaish-e-Mohammed headquarters. So Maulana in those days, when Ziaul Haq's era, he basically entered Afghanistan on Ummah Brotherhood basically to lead the Mujahids. So those days Harkatul Ansar and Harkatul Mujahideen used to be the top terrorist cadres fighting inside Afghanistan against Russian forces. And they were basically galvanizing the entire module of anti-Afghanistan front, which were basically recruited from Pakistan soil. He fought there for almost 8 to 10 years till exit of Russian forces in 1989 or 1990, perhaps. So when just 1 decade before the end of the millennium, Kashmir chapter was promoted because of that. Because that was the time when all these mujahideens were basically jobless.
Out of work.
Out of work. So once the Russian military retreated back to their barracks, so Afghanistan came in the hand of these Talibanis, Mullah Umar. So that was the time when these proxies were diverted by ISI to the territory of J&K. Because they had already started problems in 1988, mid-1988, then 1999. So Maulana was given command to enter in J&K territory to create a synergy amongst various foreign terrorist fighters outfits and also to mix and match the local cadres with that foreign terrorist fighter cadres. And there was some differences, there was some infight going on between Harkatul Mujahideen and Huji both in between, because they used to fight each other against each other also. So there was a farman from Pakistan. You enter India, you create this coordination, you create this synergy, and you lead the Tehreek from J&K soil.
And he entered India from Bangladesh on a Portuguese passport in 91.
Correct.
I think
He entered in 94, early 93. Late 93, early 94.
Got it.
Yes.
So he came through Bangladesh, so that it would not...
He came through Malda.
Okay.
He basically landed on fake Portuguese passport at Dhaka, then entered West Bengal through Malda, traveled to Deoband, Saharanpur, stayed for a week, because Saharanpur, Jaish-e-Mohammed's Aqidah basically is from Saharanpur only.
Right.
Deobandi Aqidah. They follow Deobandi thought process, school of thought, of Islamic school of thought of Deoband. Then he traveled to Ayodhya. Because as you know, the demolition of Babri Masjid had already happened in the month of December 1992.
Correct.
From there, he went to J&K and South Kashmir, Anantnag. In Anantnag area, he had got his own contacts. Sajjad Afghani from Kotli POK was his right hand. And they held a meeting there, underground meeting, to create a coordination amongst various factions, their leaders, which was definitely away from police eyes.
Right.
And accidentally, he was caught on the chowk of Anantnag.
Car broke down, no?
Exactly. Car broke down and he was very bulky. Person having a lot of weight, so he could not run, and he was nabbed by the security personnel. Sajjad Afghani was his right hand. He was in a position to escape, but he also surrendered. And a statement he told, he is such a great friend of mine that had I left him, probably I could not have pardoned myself, because how I abandoned my comrade. So both were in Kot Balwal jail till they were released in exchange of IC-814 in the last week of December 1999. So Maulana Masood Azhar was very precious proxy for Afghanistan, for Pakistan operators, for Pakistanis, for the state actors, and that's why they were very desperate to get him back from the Indian jail, and they were successful in that planning, and that turned the entire story of the terrorism globally. Why? Because if you see, they made 3 to 4 attempts from 1994 to 1999, and IC-814 was the last attempt in where they were successful. The millennium was ending, and before that, Kargil Kargil was already one of the major conflict between India and Pakistan, and he established a new terror outfit in the month of January 2000. Once there was a new millennium, I think 21st January, from the streets of Bahawalpur, Pakistan, Punjab, he declared Jaish-e-Mohammed outfit, and when he was in jail, after 3 to 4 months, his lieutenant Ghazi Baba, he also entered J&K territory, and he basically operated the entire Jaish-e-Mohammed violence from the J&K territory inside Kashmir, South Kashmir, North Kashmir, including parliament attack in Delhi, J&K assembly attack, and there had been one more attack later on in Ayodhya. So all these attacks were basically guided by Ghazi Baba because Maulana was in jail. Once Maulana came out of the jail and he was handed over on the tarmac of Kandahar, after that he was basically guiding from the soil of Pakistan. And Jaish-e-Mohammed was created in the month of January. Thereafter, there was a series of attacks on Indian soil and landmarks attacks. In 2000, Ghazi Baba gave an interview in the Z News. 2001, J&K assembly attack, followed by parliament attack, and in between 9/11 America. If you take first October 2001 and 13 December 2000 parliament attack. In between there was 9/11 already. And I tell you, Al-Qaeda also has a same Islamic thought process as Jaish-e-Mohammed has.
So true.
Al-Qaeda is well linked with the Jaish and Jaish with the Al-Qaeda. That's why this Osama bin Laden hosted a dinner in the honor of Maulana Masood Azhar in Kandahar. Once he was freed on that tarmac, and he just set out to reach to Quetta, via Quetta in Pakistan. So en route he was welcomed because they were so well connected. That was the thought process they were carrying. And we are still having that problem. Al-Qaeda link and Ansarul Ghazwa Hind, which just happened last year in Delhi itself, in the month of November.
Near the Red Fort where the blast happened.
That was a Ansarul Ghazwa Hind. Basically, you take the same ISIS, Al-Qaeda, although ISIS and Al-Qaeda are two different, but at many times both have been collaborators also.
And
supporting each other. Similar ideology also. Supporting each other also. So all these factions are the same. And larger philosophy is the same. Anti-India, Ghazwa Hind, complete, there has to be a rule of complete caliphate. A total rule of Khalifa should prevail. No military, no army, no police, no administration, no system. Only Sharia law. Sharia law, Khalifat, and this is the world order. And entire country should basically move on this line only, and there is no other line. That is their thought process.
And we almost had Maulana Masood Azhar in Operation Sindoor. I mean, like a lot of his family went down, but I think wo phir se bach gaya in that also.
Actually, he was safe only because of the reason that he was number one target. So my thought process says that ISI had given them a very strong shelter inside Punjab, inside Bahawalpur. The entity like Maulana Masood Azhar, Hafiz Saeed, Dawood Ibrahim, they are kept in a very huge security. So it is not easy to know where exactly they are. And even if there is some hint, it is very obvious for ISI to shift them in the hours of crisis when there is a hostility between two countries. But he lost his wife, he lost his sister, he lost his Behnoi, and a complete 13 Jaish-e-Mohammed cadres who were killed in a single attack. But that was the biggest lesson India taught to Jaish-e-Mohammed during Operation Sindoor. Because Jaish-e-Mohammed's territory inside Pakistan, in Bahawalpur, was never touched by anyone.
Correct.
You take Balakot, you take the thing which we surgical strike, Balakot, or anything which could not happen after 26/11. We know very clearly. So this was the only time during Operation Sindoor when this Markaz-e Subhanallah in Bahawalpur, headquarter of Jaish-e-Mohammed, was targeted very precisely, killing 13 cadres of Jaish-e-Mohammed, including his wife and family members. So I think it was a very successful operation from that point of view.
So true. You mentioned Ghazi Baba as well, and of course, Ghazi Baba, and you had a first-hand encounter, obviously, which has also been well documented, on many podcasts, also in the movie that's been made, on you and the encounter as well. What is his story? Where did Ghazi Baba first come in from? How did he grow in prominence? How did he command, the power that he actually did amongst the militant cadre?
He was a terrorist class apart and a very trusted person of Maulana Masood Azhar. He had got a very rich experience of fighting inside Afghanistan against Russian forces and well-trained person, especially surviving in guerrilla attacks. So those were the master qualities of Ghazi Baba. Because if you see the chief of Huji in jail just after 39 days adventure inside Indian territory, and his deputy is crossing line of control, reaching in J&K territory, and making landmark attacks, including 3 to 4 attempts in the previous century, including 1994, kidnapping of 4 tourists, 1995 August, kidnapping of 6 tourists, and again mass murders, and finally the conspiracy of IC-814. All these things, and one more, attempt for the jailbreak of Kot Balwal in Jammu. So all these attempts were already done by Ghazi Baba and his team in the past millennium, just to get Maulana freed from Indian jail. Now, after release of Maulana and Jaish-e-Mohammed came into existence in January 2000, again he survived and he ensured Parliament in session is attacked in the daylight in Delhi. When 242 members of Parliament are sitting inside. Vice President just concluded his bhashan.
Correct.
Though the attack was not successful and the attackers were killed outside, but his planning was perfect. And penetrating the security dome, entering right inside the premises of Parliament was itself a very big success. And he was doing everything sitting from Kashmir, bringing suiciders inside Delhi, putting them in a rented house in North Campus area, arranging a ambassador car, fake number, fake pass, creating a space in the car to put the RDX, planning to explode. Everything was done by him. And before that, he had already demonstrated a suicide attack on J&K Assembly attack in 1st October 2001.
Correct.
And
that led to far higher casualties also.
I am the witness of that attack. I was there only in Kashmir only, and I was witness to the J&K Assembly attack, handling the post-attack situation also, killing the terrorists. But planning something in hinterland, because generally people think of a terrorist doing something in Kashmir territory. But if you successfully do it in Delhi, do it in Mumbai, Bangalore, Kolkata, Chennai, Lucknow, then the entire length and breadth of the country is threatened. Your entire security wall is shaken. So that is the thing which makes the Jaish-e-Mohammed very special, and also the talent and planning capacity of Ghazi Baba to that level. And finally, his chapter was closed.
Yeah, and speaking of that, so that entire week, between the 23rd of August and the 30th of August, there had been many instances, right? There was Mumbai had those blasts. Prime Minister Vajpayee was visiting Kashmir,
yes.
at that time. In fact, I think a lot of activities were being planned around, his
Yes,
visit,
yes.
as well. And in fact, I was also listening to you where you mentioned that was it Ansari Bhai? I think he was one of the
Ansar Bhai.
Ansar Bhai was one of the guys who was actually caught
Deputy chief,
again,
deputy chief,
just
deputy
by
chief.
chance. I think he was on his bicycle
Yes,
with
yes,
his
yes,
suicide
yes.
vest and everything else, and maybe he didn't. He panicked. He couldn't blow
Panic,
himself up.
yes. That was
But
the reason.
amazing story, and tell our viewers about how Ansar Bhai led to the carpenter, that led to the finding of the hideouts and the final encounter.
Actually, as you told that was the time, that was a periodicity of 3.5 years, 4 years, which marked a very important events all over the world.
Yeah.
Starting Kargil, then again change of the millennium, IC-814 hijacking,
Correct.
followed by suicide attack era in Kashmir, and again October 2001 JNK Assembly attack,
Correct.
followed by 9/11 in America,
Correct.
followed by 13 December 2001 Parliament attack. So all these happened in a span of 3 years. Internationally also. Again, some development between India and Pakistan. Vajpayee-Musharraf meet,
Hanji.
Agra summit,
Yes.
slowing down some tehreek and again talking something to improve the relationship. That was also happening.
Right.
Now this, I think these are the rogue elements and these are the proxy elements of Pakistan. Many a times they are also not in a full control of those handlers. That is my experience. They handle, they control, but many times they also do many things at their own will.
So they've gone rogue in a way. and
Rogue,
jo man
because
mein
you
aa raha hai,
cannot
they think
control 100%.
Yeah.
If you keep a cobra in your courtyard, every time cobra is not going to listen your command,
course.
because that is in nature, prakriti.
So true.
That's what that happened with Ghazi Baba. So even if, although it is unconfirmed, even if there was some attempt between both the countries to improve the relationship, I think Jaish-e-Mohammed, Ghazi Baba, were the entity who were not basically following the complete dictum coming from across the border. So they wanted to do something very special. And in a bid of doing that, they attacked all these two institutions. After that, he started hitting the morale of the forces by a very different technique of guerrilla attack. Guerrilla attack is you keep in hiding, you don't disclose your position, and you keep targeting your enemy by a very unconventional way. So there were suicide killers in Kashmir and also silent pistol killers. There was a group of pistol killers.
Achha.
Pistol killers were so frequently moving across Kashmir that every day there was casualty of some uniformed personnel. Pistol is very small, it is very easy to hide.
Correct.
Once you reach to the body of a person, live person, he is unaware. Who are you? Just taking out the pistol, shooting, having no noise, the person is fallen, bleeding, dying, and you left the scene.
Mixed in the crowd.
So
and
you missed in the
disappeared.
crowd. You are not being caught. You are not being arrested. It had become a big mystery in 2000, 2001, 2002. He guided these attacks for almost 4 years. So everybody were perplexed.
And what was the casualties? Like how many people would they
I
have?
think 70 to 80 casualties. Those are big casualties. That is my estimate, 70 to 80.
And all people in uniform.
All people in uniform. Very few killings of any civilian. Maybe 1 or 2 informer, 1 or 2 sympathizer, but mostly the uniform. And irrespective of the badge, what badge you are wearing, that doesn't material. It should be uniform, khaki, OG, disruptive, camouflage dress, JNK police, any force. Just kill and leave. So that the morale of the forces was basically attacked. It was followed by grenade attacks also. Grenade is also very safe thing. You put in pocket, once you throw, thereafter you again disappear in the crowd and you are never caught. And suicide attack. Suicide attack era basically started by Jaish-e-Mohammed. Suicide attack is basically against the campuses.
Right.
But the security forces were staying in that part of geography of our JNK without any proper premises because they were not made to be there.
Correct.
They just reached and occupied some makeshift building, some makeshift arrangement, no boundary wall, nothing to stop a person entering inside the campus except a sentry.
Correct.
And they took advantage of that and they spread the this suicide attack operations against the security forces. Ghazi probably became very ambitious by declaration of the visit of Prime Minister in the month of August 2003. So he shifted his base from interior to heart of the city. So once he shifted from this Lam area, Lam, Gandarbal, Zakura, Tral area, these were the difficult mountains of this Pir Panjal. He shifted his base inside Srinagar city. And his base was in my area of responsibility. I also didn't know because he was operating silently from specially designed hideouts, which used to be made with the help of carpenters, local carpenters, some local level designer, some CCTV sort of thing. Those days we were fighting openly with the group of terrorists. We are not so much aware about that technology being used by the person inside a very thickly populated area. So with the declaration of Prime Minister visit, probably he accelerated the killing spree little on a very higher side. And we used to note down everything historically through conversation of the wireless set, making some database. No technology at all was available with us. Entire technology was the weapon we were using and our mental technology. I mean, just human end, purely human end. So on the day of Prime Minister visit, there was a suicide attack in Lal Chowk, although it didn't affect the cavalcade of Prime Minister. But it was an independent fight against the suiciders and all were killed. There was some casualty from our side, but the visit was totally safe. Overnight stay of Prime Minister and fire was continued to clear the terrorists from the hidden house. Next day morning, once PM was basically on the way to Delhi, he was in the return journey. Then the second suicider, Ansar Bhai, who was deputy chief of Ghazi Baba, he basically had a plan to attack at some important position in Kashmir to make a big news. Because basically their purpose is to get highlighted in international media. He tried and en route, just he set out and he was basically confronted by a small patrol party of my battalion. And boys were very smart. They just overpowered him. And he was also, I think, little shaky. So he didn't explode, but he was caught with complete equipment, entire accessories, equipment, explosive, magazine, grenades, pistol, rifle, everything, wireless set. He was brought before us. The boys, they just took him in the car and dumped inside and interrogation started by the time PM returned to Delhi. And that was the interrogation on 28th of August, which basically led us to reach inside his hideout because on the overnight recovery of that Pakistani terrorist, we also caught hold of the house owner who after interrogation revealed about the location of one carpenter who basically had designed the hideout of Ghazi Baba. So on 29th, throughout the day we interrogated him. We had 3 people, one Pakistani, one Makan Malik and one carpenter. Separately, so 3 in 3 different rooms interrogation was continued. And by evening, we came to know about one of the hideout of Ghazi Baba, which the carpenter had designed. But that time he was not sure whether you will get Ghazi Baba in that hideout. It was not sure. But it was also not ruled out. We raided on 29th night, we raided the house and on 3rd floor, it was a 1-to-1 gun battle in a very small room. And for initial moments, initial minutes, we were totally clueless where he is because the entire room was vacant. There was no trace of any human being except a very suspicious mirror fitted on one of the wall, little extraordinary size. And it was fitted with complete CCTV with night vision device, which was not visible to us. After encounter, those things were taken out from that mirror and it was basically presented before the media. This is the CCTV. Then first time in my life, I could see the CCTV on the TV screen because that time I was already in the hospital. So you can imagine the level of preparation. level of his preparation to keep safe for years in Kashmir. And it was a very ferocious fight in the room, because there was only one escape stair, team of 9, one got Martyr, Balbir Singh, my colleagues, Benu Chandran, Trivedi, they also got injured. One Jawan had a bullet injury through and through in shoulder and hand. So, and operators were injured by the grenade injuries. So lastly, only 3 officers were left inside. There were 2 Pakistanis. They also had got no other escape route except the stair. So things were concluded there. One tried to jump from the terrace, killed on the first floor. Ghazi was killed by me, and I was badly injured. But in senses, I could talk, I could walk with 7 to 8 bullet shots.
Even after all
I
that,
walked from 3rd floor.
Shots, you still walked down.
Yeah. I came right from 3rd floor walking up to the ground floor. Then one of the Jawan, he basically supported me, put me in the gypsy for medical aid. I briefed the officer that there could be more militants on upstairs. I could see one person killed. I could see one of the Jawan in a fallen position. I am not very sure whether he's alive or he's not alive. So you don't leave the house. You keep the house totally cordoned, because morning is just 1 hour away. So in the morning hour, you have to basically assess and judge whether we have clearly, completely killed the terrorist or there is something more left. And by the time I was taken to the hospital, then the doctors took over me. They started their job. But just before midday, it was informed by my own Director General, who flew from Delhi, reached there, and 15 Corps Commander, my wife, they shot and very quickly visited ICU. And then they shared what actually I did. And then they also shared that about my medical condition. And it was just like a filmy screen, filmy information, some scene moving on your eyes, though live, though truth. But everything, every scene, every conversation, every information was nothing heard before, never seen before. It just came and you heard it and you reacted it and you lived those moments. It happened like this. But chapter of Jaish-e-Mohammed in Valley got closed for 13 years till the Jaish-e-Mohammed attacked on 2nd January 2016 on Pathankot Air Base attack. From 2003 to 2016,
Amazing.
Jaish could never rise. After 2016, definitely they again picked up. But leadership, termination of one big leadership in terrorist outfit also impacts their operation for almost 1.5 decades.
Amazing. And you were responsible for cutting off the head of the snake. So,
I got opportunity to do.
I want to talk about one more incident, that actually happened on that fateful night, when you did get a call and you had to go out. And you had actually forgotten your jacket at home. And then you sent, Balbir Singh to go up and, get your jacket. And in a way, that jacket would have gone, some way in saving your life as well. Tell our viewers and listeners about what actually happened there as well.
Actually, it was month of August, generally warmest in the Kashmir situation. But timing was 3:30 in the night, so it remains a little cold.
Right.
So out of again overconfidence, I just took my normal uniform, came down, but I felt a little cold. Then I told my Jawan to bring my jacket. I was on the first floor. So Balbir was the person whom my wife handed over the jacket. He had returned from leave just a day back, and he was not part of my team that day. But he himself took initiative to talk to his battalion Haldar Major. You put me in that team. He could have easily avoided, because generally we give 1 day rest once he come from the leave. But I think he got tempted because of the reason that most of the boys, they used to be part of my team, because operationally they are active. They are basically encountering the terrorists. There is some reward, some incentive. Right. So he got part of my team. After encounter, once I lost, I was not that time having the family details, but he had just only one shot and he died. Later I learned that his wife was in family way. After recovery, after 1.5 years, I visited. First I met his lady wife during investiture ceremony in Ashoka Hall, Defense Investiture Ceremony, Rashtrapati Bhavan, when she was handed over Shaurya Chakra. That was the first day when I saw that lady. She was so young. Then after 1 year, I visited his house in district Sikar, Rajasthan, along with my family. I went, after getting down from Sikar railway station, I took some gadi and went to his house. When I entered his village, there was a, you can say, desert type of park. A park fully deserted because there was absence of any plant.
Right.
But one big replica of his idol was made in the park. So I first went there. I sat for a few moments. We had photograph. I paid my homage. Then I entered to his house. After 1 or 2 hours, we returned back. His wife delivered a male baby after encounter. So I've been in contact. His brother got included in the BSF as a constable. But the most emotional moment was this January 2026. There was a Pustak Vimochan in Bharat Mandapam. So I was invited there and he was also invited there. His mother was invited, but son came.
Lovely.
Once I entered the arena, then his son came and he touched my feet. Then he told, "Sir, I am Dalvir, son of Balbir." I was just, wow, so emotional because he was not born.
Right.
Then he told, "How did you recognize me?" Then he told that I have seen in media and I have never seen my father because I was not born. And because of that, I recognized you. Anyway, it was a very emotional moment. Sure. Then I took him after event. I took him to the hotel, then had lunch together. Then he went back in the evening. He also told that mother is not getting medal allowance since 2021 because of some official issues. Then I took complete paper and just 3-4 days back, I submitted it to the headquarters to get it corrected. So, and now they are settled. And recently I learned that the boy has got a job in the Rajasthan government. So his son is also got a job. His brother is in BSF. Wife never married. And his life was so drastically cut short in this encounter. So these were the emotional journey but I am always connected to them.
The son must be about 22 years now.
Yeah, he's 22 years.
Yeah. And Balbir himself, how old was he when he passed away?
He was himself of this age. His son was just like Balbir only. Balbir was little taller, but his height was little less than his father. Right. But he was just like his father only. I also recognized after a few seconds, yes, he looks like that.
Right.
Yeah.
But would have been an emotional moment for sure.
Yeah.
Especially because of
I am constant touch with them.
Lovely.
I am constant touch.
Fantastic. Yes. Not in any incident, even in a war, have so many gallantry medals been given as were given to your 9 people who were there.
People and internal security.
Yeah.
Because once there is open war, which is basically which is given the status of war, right, like India-Pakistan war,
right,
India-China war.
Right.
But on internal security front, the kind of fight we do, right, it's not a war. Right. It's a low intensity war. Yeah. It's an anti-terrorist war. It's a counter-insurgency operation. Correct. So in a single operation, 12 gallantry awards are generally not given by any government. Okay. It happened only in that operation. Even you can draw a parallel from the war also. Definitely major war, major battles must have been more medals. Right. But on counter-insurgency front, this is the maximum gallantry award given by the President of India in which Ghazi Baba was killed. That is truth.
Amazing. And you won the Kirti medal.
I got a Kirti Chakra, second highest gallantry award, defense award.
Right.
Shaurya Chakra awarded to Martyr, Shahid Balbir Singh, and 10 officers and men. They were awarded President Police Medal for Gallantry, Police Medal for Gallantry. 3 Jawans got out of turn promotions. And Director General Commendation, I can't count, maybe more than 1,000.
Amazing.
Yeah, that was the complete story. I tried to state in a very short,
time.
yeah.
And of course, this became a movie also where Imran Hashmi played you in a Bollywood film as well last time.
Yes, after so many years, probably the government thought of making a film based on the story of valor and gallantry of the Central Armed Police Forces, especially BSF, through this operation, and also to mark the success of killing Osama bin Laden size terrorist Ghazi Baba.
They used to call him Osama bin Laden of India.
Yeah, he was declared. And Deputy Prime Minister himself told in one of the press conference, we very proudly declared that we killed Ghazi Baba, India's Osama bin Laden, in the period of 17 months after Parliament attack. Whereas USA is still hunting Osama bin Laden after 9/11, and he got killed in 2011.
Yeah, yeah.
Attack is of 2001.
Correct.
So it also took
10 years.
a decade
Right.
to hunt him down in your Zakobad or Pakistan cantonment area. So that was the basically work of our security forces, Jawans.
And you had many years in hospital, in and out after that. For almost 4 years, you were in and out of hospital. After.
Life was saved, but the way of living the life was very difficult. So I got saved. I am alive. I'm also enjoying my period of my life after 40 years, after 29 years. So it's almost more than 23 years. And I'm a lucky person. I'm living my award, my medal, everything, whatever I got from the country, forces, government of India, everybody helped me. But the entire journey had been very painful, very struggling, very challenging. Getting operated, your midline abdomen, stomach for 4 times. Again, having a artificial pouch inside in place of colon. Right leg completely shattered. Right leg having a paresthesia. But these things are basically not so unbearable. If you've got a precious life still left in your hand, with so much appreciation and so much love.
I love how you're still making the most of it. In fact, I was also hearing once you actually ran or even participated in the Airtel Half Marathon.
Yes, I participated twice.
Amazing.
I participated twice, and great Milkha Singh had flagged off that. And third one, I tried to participate, but I became very late to reach the venue. There was a big rush in Nehru Stadium. So I had to leave that. But I participated in two marathons. One in disabled category and one is 10 kilometer or something. Because right leg doesn't allow me to run. Because my femoral nerve is damaged and it cannot be repaired. So I try to manage with whatever is left. Whatever is left is also very precious. And on top of that, everything, life is very precious. So I'm a lucky person, having support and blessings of everyone in the society. I don't have any regret and any grudge for anyone because everybody helped me. I don't find anyone against whom I think probably this person was little short of helping me. Everyone helped.
And despite your right arm being shattered, you're back to tennis.
I started. My grip is like this. So the hand
fingers then.
So the hand grip of the racket is a little. It gets rotated. So I just modified it, and I started doing it. It gives me very good feeling that I am little back to tennis court with whatever the left energy and capacity I have. Definitely, I can't play with the young persons.
But still, I mean, phenomenal, inspiration. Like I said, just so many people would have not, had the courage, or the audacity to get back and doing all the things that you're doing. And even when we were talking earlier, when you're saying, you're on this board, and you're traveling here and traveling there, hardly any days in Delhi also.
I keep myself engaged.
Yeah.
I feel very happy if I get opportunity to help someone. Even in the morning, I was in this area only. I went at 1:30. I had come to Lakshmi Nagar area to help one of the very senior IG level officer who is suffering from cancer. So I had gone there to get the approval done from the doctors, to meet them, to tell them, you do it fast. This is very important. This drug is very, very critical to save his life. So I try to keep myself engaged in these things also. Anybody asks if I'm free, I associate the person if I can do something, because many people have done many things for me. So I must reciprocate.
Love that.
I try to do that.
Love that. ठीक है जी. So a quick rapid fire. So
Yes, yes.
what comes to your mind? One word, one sentence. And,
I'll tell.
then
I'll
we'll
tell.
take it up from there. So one word to describe your journey in the BSF.
By accident.
Okay. The toughest decision that you ever had to make while in uniform.
Entering the hideout of Ghazi Baba, because out of my team, one officer's wife was in family way, and they were staying there. So the biggest turmoil in the mind to ensure safety of the people whom you are leading. Many times you cut down the success, but you try to keep the life safe. So that was the biggest.
And just to give context, out of the team of 9, there was only one casualty. 8 people
Only one
survived.
casualty. Yes. And there was no civilian casualty. No casualty of any innocent person in the entire downtown area. We were in thickly. उस घर में 16 लोग थे. किसी की चोट नहीं लगी.
Amazing. A moment in your career that changed you forever.
Astrologer came to my house.
Achha.
I don't know good or bad, but many times you change the track.
Anji.
Yes.
So astrologer came to your house.
Yeah, I had written a write-up also to my university. Shall I tell you that?
Please.
Actually, I am from very conservative family. So the entire family was they had made up their mind to send me to Gurukul Kangdi, Haridwar to study the Sanskrit. Father was struggling to send me to Hyderabad, some English institution. That was a very famous English institution in Hyderabad those days. Although we were not in a position to afford that education. Suddenly one astrologer, he was just passing through our house. He was a known person. He didn't come by accident. He was just having a stopover. गांव में कई मील आप चलते हैं तो किसी जानने वाले के यहाँ रुक जाते हैं. They were just getting my horoscope scanned by him, and he told that you should not encourage him to go to Sanskrit. You should encourage him to go to English. Then everybody decided. Then there was no conflict, no thought process conflict, and it happened. And I turned my education to that literature. And finally, everything happened. It followed.
Okay. Lovely. Wow, that's good to know. Imran Hashmi playing you, was it accurate, or did Bollywood take some liberties?
They definitely take some liberty. Yeah, they definitely take some liberty. And the choice of caste is not of a person. Basically, after a stage, things goes in their domain and territory. So they go as per their professional thought process. So, but yes, you're right.
You spoke about Kashmir in 2003, obviously being very different to what it is today. So what would be one word to describe Kashmir in 2003?
Militants, well settled and established in Kashmir, and were at their worst in 2003.
Scary.
Worst.
For sure.
That era is still not that period is still not there, and it was not before also. So 2003 was the worst time, not because my encounter took place, just because the type of killings and the targeting to the security forces was altogether a different thing for everyone.
Your first thoughts before entering a high-risk operation? And you've done
These stakes were very high.
Yeah.
What cost one has to pay? That was the biggest concern.
Right. Makes a lot of sense. One thing about counter-terror operations that people get wrong.
One should not go above the board. Sense of complacency is the worst.
Right. And that potentially can lead to casualties and
100%.
collateral damage. Yeah.
Sense of complacency, even with the most professional person,
Right.
leads to tragedy many a times. So this is very important, even for the smartest person to understand.
Yeah. So true. If Ghazi Baba had surrendered instead of fighting, what would you have done?
I would have allowed him to live as long as possible to get maximum layer of informations from him, which we lost because of his killing. And there was no way out also, because he was there to be killed or to kill
It
you.
was a suicide mission for him also.
Yeah. But alive Ghazi Baba would have been more
Priceless,
precious
no?
for us.
Of course. Would have got a lot of information from him.
Just like Kasab.
That's true. What matters more in operations? Is it planning or is it instinct?
Planning.
Your parents found out much later. In fact, there's some stories that they found out 64 days after about what happened.
Exactly.
What did your mother first say to you when she found out?
Mother is comparatively stronger than father. Father is basically a hugely emotional person. So probably it hit him as a man. He took it that probably I kept him away from my bad conditions for 64 days just because my father will not be able to take the tragic scene. So he bounced back and he reacted that, do you think that I am so weak? Anyway, I took time to pacify them.
Right.
And today father is no more. Mother is healthy, doing well. So that was a scene I remember in the Vasant Kunj Indian Spinal Injury Center Hospital on the first floor. He was just bust. I
Very
mean, people were just seeing what is happening. So I kept him away till I was able to get up from the hospital bed, sit in the wheelchair, and to have a round outside. I thought that if I am lying with my very bad condition, abdomen is cut, hand is like that, so probably he'll not be able to basically take it.
See that. A skill every officer must have in the field.
How to connect the human being. That is the biggest strength. If your human connect is excellent, success cannot stop you to it. That is a very big thing. Human connect is very important.
A big myth that people have about the BSF in particular.
Is it a force? What they work? Without knowing the correct side of the story, a BSF handling Kashmir terrorism on hand for 15 years, right from the day of commencement of terrorism, apart from handling the border.
A leader that you really looked up to during your time in service, a leader that you really looked up to, any particular person?
I appreciate Vajpayee ji from my heart, but I appreciate Dr. APJ Kalam greater than anyone, because it was his DRDO, his Akash Agni Trishul brought in 80s, selflessly, pursuing his talent selflessly, and bringing India in the league of superpowers.
So true.
That man had got a very great contribution, and on this point, everybody agrees. I didn't find anyone contradicting this point, and I'm lucky to have award from his hand.
Yes, you got your medal from him. Only.
Yeah,
Yes, I saw that.
Unka haath usme left hand, his right hand was broken probably while walking in the garden. So he had plaster for some time. So it was told to us that you shake left hand, because his right hand was under
Correct.
under recovery stage, and my hand was also under recovery stage.
Correct.
So I shook left hand.
Yeah. Your leadership style in 3 words.
Human connect. Never expect decorations, awards.
Anji.
Silently do your work, and no shortcut of hard work.
No shortcuts in hard work. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. A habit from your days at the BSF that you still follow daily.
Get up early and search for work.
One word that your wife uses to describe you at home.
I am too good.
That's good to know.
I am too good to be bad. That is our biggest worry.
Okay. A book of philosophy that has shaped your thinking in life.
I read and repeatedly read the books of Dr. Kalam. I carry all the time. Even in his smallest book, the lines of wisdom he has quoted are useful for every day-to-day life. And the best contribution is, he is the person in his books conveyed very clearly to the people of India that you are suffering from a defeatist mindset, and reminded about the grand past. The day India will come out from the defeatist mindset and remember back the past contribution to the humanity, I think nobody can stop you. Make India great again. Nobody can stop you.
Wow. I haven't read any of his books, in fact.
You read Ignited Mind. You read. It's a very thin book.
Mm-hmm.
Very thin book. He started that, the first mathematician of the world, 5th century, from India, Patna, Kusmapur. Second one in 492. Then he's a broad best scientist name, and also about one of the mathematicians for whom the Trinity University, UK, Department of Mathematics, HOD, he has written in his book that once I grade the mathematician of the world, maximum I give 7 out of 10.
Right.
But once I grade this mathematician of India, even the score of 10 is not sufficient.
Amazing.
So he has given every illustration why we had been so great and how we forgot that we were so great. And we are suffering from the defeatist mindset. That is the biggest enemy of the world. And one of the answer he has told, poverty is the biggest enemy of the world in one of the thing. And in one of the reply he has told, the child is the biggest scientist of the world. All these are his interactions.
Super revelations. Definitely order it today itself. Last 2 or 3 questions on the rapid fire. If not the BSF, okay, what would Mr. Dubey have been today?
Mudarris, a teacher.
Yeah.
Because academics has been a very favorite to me, and it was a diversion from that route. Basically, I got detoured from that thought process.
Right.
So I wanted to become a teacher, professor.
Right.
I am son of a teacher, and teaching was a very favorite area to me. Even after retirement, I am trying to
spend time with children and colleges and all of that.
To resume back that thought process.
And I think even by medium of podcast, how you're sharing so much and such great insights. I think a lot of people even are learning from your insights.
Thank you so much.
And of course, my last question is your message, one message to every 20-year-old who's watching this and wants to wear the uniform.
I just convey to my young generation, you are in a very blessed country. You have taken birth in a very blessed country.
Right.
You search and research about your glory, and you start taking pride, and you follow civility. The first thing you follow the civility to make India great. The moment we'll follow civility, India will automatically become great.
For sure.
And if country is intact,
right,
we are intact. We are free to pursue anything.
So true.
Today, the same dream Iranian child cannot think of. You see the world all over. So you search back your glory and find yourself in a position of, first thing we can start the civility from your own home.
Correct.
But generations, they are doing it.
Yeah.
But my only message is that this is the area should not be taken casually.
Right. Don't take it for granted.
No, don't take it for granted.
Thank you so much. I think such super shares on the rapid fire as well. One other aspect I want to touch upon, and this did come up, when recently the Pahalgam incident happened as well, and they talk about the fact is, okay, while the militants themselves had come from across the border, there is on-ground support that does happen, and it's been happening all the way back since even your time in the valley as well. And there's this incident of the Hussein incident that happened in your time. Talk us about that, and talk us about your thoughts on how these silos are still there, who are still helping in certain cases like what happened in Pahalgam as well.
These silos are there and they will continue to be, because until there is a local support, it is very difficult for any terror outfit coming from across the border to survive. Reason being that for logistic purpose, for your food, for daily living, transporting weaponry and ammunition grenade from a place A to place B, then also to keep in a very secured environment, and some medical support, SIM, mobile, battery, charger, everything. They always depend upon the local people. Now the area is such, it is not very easy to keep surveillance over everyone. So the overground workers, they generally work under some obligation. They get money also. There are few persons, they are radicalized. And the past connections always create new connections. So the Kashmir terrorism is basically deeply embedded since last 3.5 decades. So the generations, the people, the elements, the human being in the society, maybe young, maybe old. If somebody was very young in 1990, 2026, he is very old. But his past connections are somehow a reflection to create a new pool of OGWs. So they get linked, and they are using highly encrypted mode of communication, highly encrypted. They don't carry internet connections in their mobile phones. They are moving in jungle, somebody is coming, they just take their phone, they take hotspot, they talk. After 5 minutes, they will break the SIM, they will use another SIM card. So what I want to tell you, they are using a very secured mode to communicate each other, and they are getting local support of some people in that area for their daily survival. That is not going to finish. It will continue.
And what was this Hussain incident in particular that happened in 2000?
That is, if you say, that is a just opposite part of that what I have told you.
Okay.
Because opposite part in the sense that if they operate on the basis of local support, with the support of local people, we also cultivate, we also create human resources while operating in that area. It's a personal also, personal in the sense it is a personal trait. It is taught in some institutions, but actually once you practice on the ground, it is totally your own aura, your personality, your way of touching the heart and mind of the youngster, of the people. It's your trick that you also generate, cultivate some resources, some assets.
Correct.
Incentivized also, many a times it's your friendship, many a times it's a sort of professional blackmailing also. Somebody is in a bad spot.
Agreed.
So the character Hussain depicted in that film is not exactly what used to happen. Yes, except that few sources also getting killed, like Hussain is shown killed in the film. So many resource persons, many informers also become victim of terrorist killings.
Correct.
Because once they also investigate who is the person who passed the information, so they also declare death warrant and they kill them. But I have been lucky to have a very good resource pool of human being in Kashmir while working. Lucky person. No dearth. Many a times I used to put the people in wait because my hands were full. I am operating, hands are full. I am totally engaged. Keep in reserve. I'll see it tomorrow. So my human connect was very good. And my human relations gave me a lot of success in dealing with those terror modules. And I am very sure we still can do it, and we are doing it.
Correct.
It's not finished. So it is a Shahmat game, like who outsmarts others. Both are basically working in the same human environment.
Yeah. And also, like you said, your ability to connect, because like you once mentioned that even your grandfather, and you know how he brought you up, and there was, Urdu shairi and all that was happening. So your ability to even speak Urdu and keep, that common connect with the people in the valley, I'm sure that would have gone a long way as well.
It worked. And many things you learn not in the institution. Like earlier, there used to be community living the family. So you learn many things from your generations without joining any formal institution. So once we started, Hindi is our mother language, and also the way of living, way of conducting, way of responding, how to quickly connect the people. So the Urduized culture, like even in today in Uttar Pradesh, in court, kachehari, police station, argument, legal area, you find a lot of input of the Urdu only. A lot of things are in Urdu. They are being translated, but you generally find people speaking in Urduized Hindi or Hindi-Urdu mix. That used to be our social culture. That is a social inheritance that was with us. Institutional mechanism definitely had some teaching in English because of the language, because of the subject I chose. Correct. And Sanskrit was basically in my family earlier. Yeah. My younger brother of a grandfather was a Sanskrit. Right. He was a man of letters in Sanskrit. So right from beginning, your reading, your talking, speaking, a recitation of shlokas so correctly without any flaw. I mean, reciting something is different thing. But reciting without making any error is basically very important. So Sanskrit and Urdu came from there. And one of my colleague with whom I had been in training in 1985, he was very, very good master in Urdu. He was Mishra. He's still there in Lucknow. तो उसकी इतनी नफासत की उर्दू होती थी कि बातचीत में भी बात करता था तो मैं सुनता था, तो अपनी मेरी गलतियों को सुधारता था भी. मैं गलतियां बोल दिया तो डांट देता था, बोला गलतियां नहीं गलतियां हैं ये. बिकॉज़ यू मस्ट नो द इफेक्ट ऑफ नुक्ता इन उर्दू. नुक्ते के हेर फेर से खुदा जुदा हो जाता है, कहावत है. अगर आपने नुक्ता हटा दिया तो उसकी मीनिंग जुदा हो जाएगी. तो दैट वाज द बेसिकली social inheritance, family inheritance from the society, from the community, without going for any formal education, except this English part.
Got it. And as we come to our concluding, time together, I know it's been more than 1 hour, and thank you so much for all your shares. Another border where there's a lot of conversation happening nowadays, and that's the other side, which is our Eastern Front, and with Bangladesh, and there is. This whole thing about the chicken's neck and all the animosity there. Of course, recently there's been a government change, and they're saying hopefully this government is slightly more friendlier than the interim government that was there. What are your thoughts on Bangladesh and what's happening on that side?
If a neighborhood is in a different direction, many times it doesn't become different from the other person who is sitting on the western side. So Bangladesh on eastern border, from my side, it's not a different what we are having a friend on a western border. Because both were the same pre-partition. The philosophy those people had followed to take a independent country on the name of religion, to make it a Pakistan, Islamic country. Those people, they had dreamt of making East Pakistan in 1947. They took it. Correct. This is the truth that East Pakistan and our West Bengal, it carries the same rawayat, same libas, same food, same language, same look, dressing up in the same way, and culturally also. But this is also a truth. Those people could have chosen not to go to Pakistan in 1947, but it didn't happen. It was Pakistan who wanted East Bengal as a East Pakistan. But East Bengal also had a choice not to become East Pakistan. It didn't happen in 1947. And for your information, the partition movement, the people who wanted to make Pakistan in 1947, those voices were stronger in East Bengal. Those people were basically from Bihar and UP. Bengal, Bihar and UP Muslims, the leadership came out of this territory were very strong in asking a separate state like Pakistan as compared to the people who are in Pakistan. Historically, this is correct, number one. Number two, even in Pakistan, the initial leaderships, except Jinnah, President, Prime Minister, they have been from Bengal. They were from East Pakistan. But the basic radical Punjabi Muslims of Pakistan never approved the leadership of the people who came from the East Pakistan.
Right.
So the core issue is still the same Punjab Pakistan, who basically operates the entire political system, military system of the Pakistan.
Right.
And Jinnah first visited Dhaka University just in the same year, the year he died. It was March, I think, March 48.
Okay.
He died in July 48, if I'm correct.
Right. Right.
And he addressed to the students in Dhaka University that Urdu will be the official language of East Pakistan, which East Pakistan never agreed. And it was basically the fight of the language which brought 1971 war. It started from there. Later on, the leadership of Pakistan tried to correct it.
Correct.
They again visited at some point of time, I'm just forgetting the year, that no, you can follow this language, there is no problem about it, once the unrest became very high. So what I want to tell you, that normally, generally, we undermine the challenges on Bangladesh border, but the Bangladesh borders challenges are not that visible, but it is one of the area for which one should be always alert from the security point of view. Those elements are there. You have seen the situation of August 2024, ousting of Sheikh Hasina of the Awami League, again bringing a caretaker government in the form of Muhammad Yunus. After formation of new government, tone and tenor initially of this new regime appears to be okay. How it is going, in which direction it is going to move, time will tell. India has got no choice except to engage the current regime. You cannot keep a regime in power in the neighboring countries. It is not absolutely in your hand.
Correct.
You can play a role to a limited extent, whether it may be Maldives, it may be Kathmandu, it may be Colombo, it may be Dhaka. So your role is diplomatically to get to engage only with the leadership which is in existence. You just cannot say, if this regime is not of my choice, so I'm not going to talk you. So there are greater interest. There are bigger contours of this geopolitical issues which both countries are handling. I think India has handled this situation very well. And political outcry, emotional outcry is very different things. But yes, minorities are at risk in Bangladesh. The jihadis are definitely, number of jihadis came in this election are higher than the previous number. One good thing, silver lining, that they never came into power. And one also good thing that the current regime is not dependent upon their mandate. Even their MP MLAs don't support, still this government has got a good majority to run.
Correct.
So they cannot take their pie out of the whole negotiation. But yes, to contain the radical element is in the interest of Bangladesh also.
Agreed. Yeah,
it is in their interest also.
The economy was doing so well.
Yes.
I mean, look at the exports and everything else. Everything's taken a back
And
seat.
the chicken neck type of rhetoric is just a psychological operation, nothing else. India is well prepared to take care of this issue. It's already in the mind of the military strategist and the political leadership. It's not going to happen. India is well prepared, and why there is a situation in coming years between India and China that Bangladesh and Pakistan will be in a position to exploit. Correct. We have got a sufficient guard against all these things, but one has to be careful.
One has to be careful.
Yes.
But just one thing that I want to tell our viewers and listeners, back home wherever you listen to this, we are where we are today, sitting in the comfort of our homes and our offices, in air-conditioned environments, with just so much to be grateful for. And I think it's, because of, gentlemen and heroes such as Mr. Narendra Dubey, who is sitting here with us today, who has done so much, and his teams and his colleagues in the BSF and all the other paramilitary forces and armed forces have done. I think it is the fruits of your labor that we are enjoying today. So, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
From that aspect, for sure. And of course, you made this trek all the way, did the rapid fire. So we have some gifts from you from
thank you
our
so
side
much.
on the podcast
Thank you so
as well.
much.
So we do have something from the Shantanu collection for writing your thoughts.
Very
And that's
interesting.
a nice, pen for you,
my
from that collection.
I love
for
once
you.
I get pen as a gift. Today I took a pen and I was just putting it in my pocket, but I forgot to fill the ink
Oh.
because I like inked pen very
Oh,
much.
lovely.
बहुत अच्छा लगता है मुझे.
Oh, fantastic.
Very
Then
good, sir.
we'll
I
have
got
the
a pen.
fountain pen for you as well.
Oh, thank you so
And
much.
then there's also from Shantanu Nikhil, so which has this nice tie and some cufflinks.
Oh, great. Thank
For you
so much.
also. From
Thank
that
you so
collection
much.
as
Thank
well.
you so much.
A souvenir for coming on our podcast. Is of course you see the Let's Chat with GB coffee mug. So we have a Let's Chat with GB
Thank you
coffee
so
mug
much.
for you as well.
I'll carry these souvenirs. I'll keep it my chest.
And what you were mentioning about how diverse, some of our subjects have been. So we created something called the Let's Chat with GB, podcast cards. So all the people who've been on the podcast till now, so we created, these cards. And if you like a section, you can scan the QR and jump on. So we'll be creating one for this
okay.
episode in due course as well.
Okay, and I'll get that.
Of course.
Okay, thank
And
you
it's
so
just, this is just one of the earlier ones, but of course, when the next
Very
episode
nicely
comes up-
designed and very nicely packed.
Thank you.
Very attractive.
Again, like I said, thank you so much for
Thank
making
you
the
so
trip.
much. Thank you so
And,
much.
It was an absolute pleasure. And
Same here. Same here.
much
I
respect
enjoyed
for
your
all that you've done.
conversation. I enjoyed
Thanks
your
so much.